Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the morning recording. I'm your host, Big J, Jerry Hawker, the fat ass badass, the fat guy with the most game. Not that I need it anymore, got a lovely lady in my life, but I'm here with you. Another beautiful day. Every day is beautiful. We woke up. We're not taking any bullshit from anybody, so nobody can pull the wool over our eyes, so every day's fucking beautiful if you ask me. The assholes that run this whole experience that we're having every day, sooner or later their time's going to come to an end, and it's going to be your turn. It's going to be my turn. It's going to be our turn to have just an objective, equal fucking experience on this earth. Not everybody's equal, but everybody deserves to have equality as far as physical, emotional, mental health, and not being harmed by anybody. So as far as I'm concerned, if we can just live our lives not harming anybody and treating other people with respect the way we want to be treated, then we're pretty fucking equal. So doesn't mean that we all get to win the t-ball game. There's still that. It just means that we don't have to be assholes when we do win, and we don't have to be too sad when we lose, because it's just a game. At all levels, it's the grand stage. This is the drama. You're living it right now. You're in your own world, living your own production. So just don't be a villain in it, you know. Be a protagonist, not an antagonist. And I'll give myself that same advice when I'm being a fucking asshole on and off every day, all day for the rest of my life. So, anyways, we're a little laid out today. It's still technically morning. We got a little bit of morning left. Outside, it's been pretty overcast all day today. It's definitely getting into the winter time, and that's that. So while we're here, I just want to remind you, in case you guys didn't hear the morning recording yesterday, we're now on the Satchel Podcast Player. The Satchel Podcast Player, definitely a great way to get connected with all the personalities that you want to get connected with. All kinds of great podcasts on there, all kinds of people having serious, comedic, dramatic, energetic conversations. And so get on there. Get your ass on there and listen to some podcasts. A cool thing about this podcast is that if you're a person that likes to proactively support the talent that whose content you enjoy, then you can donate right there in the podcast player. $1, $3, $5, $10, however much you want to donate. And even if you don't want to donate, just go on there and listen. The Satchel Podcast Player is free in the App Store, either on the Google Play Store or in your Apple Store. So get on there, download the Satchel Podcast Player, listen to some podcasts, hook someone up who's busting their ass out here trying to make a living for themselves being creative, or don't. Just listening to it itself and enjoying it, that's enough for any artist. So I live under a bridge. If I had a computer and an outlet and a microphone, I live under a fucking bridge and do this recording every day. So this is what I was meant to do, so that's the way I feel about it. So anybody who's ever doubted me, fuck you. Anybody who thought they got the better of me and that it was going to destroy me, it hasn't. Fuck off. And that's that. I'm going to continue to dominate every day. This is my world. And like G-Eazy says, I does what I wish to. So all of you guys need to do that as well. Don't harm anybody, but own the day and kick ass. And if somebody tries to harm you, kick their ass. That's just what you gotta do, you know. I'm saying so a lot today because I'm smoking on this fire. The filler words are coming out. We went to the store and we got some the weed store, because we can do that in this state. Congratulations to the 5 other states who can now do that as well out there. The state that I was born and raised and hail from, California, should have probably, in all fairness, been the first state to have recreational marijuana. They were the first state to lead the way forward for medicinal marijuana. One of the only areas where that state doesn't seem to be at a government level sold out. But yeah, so we could do it in this town as well, in this state as well. There's a handful of weed stores in the town I live in. We're smoking on. We went and got some animal cookies today. Smokable flower here. 16.4 THC. They don't really. I wish that every time you bought weed, it would come with a comprehensive list of all the cannabinoids that are located inside of it, but usually they just name the THC and CBD levels. This hardly has any CBD. This also doesn't say whether it's sativa or indica dominant. I would imagine, since I'm getting pretty talkative, that it's sativa dominant. Let me just take a whiff here. Hold on. Yeah, like earthy, citrusy tones. Finger fucking it right now, little bud there. I can do that because it's mine. If you're touching your friend's weed out there, don't bust it open. Don't finger fuck it. Be very gentle with it if you have to make physical contact with it at all. Don't be a jerk off and fuck up your friend's weed. It can smell like, it's definitely a crossbreed though, I believe, because you almost smell like that, the spiciness of a certain type of indicas or purples. Just smells fucking wonderful. The aesthetic quality of weed, I know it's not what gets you high, but a lot of times it's associated. You know, the fire weeds usually smell good and look good because they were grown right for a reason. But, you know, every once in a while you'll come across weed that doesn't smell very good, doesn't have the aesthetic quality, but it's still pretty stony. But I sure do love the aesthetic quality of it, the smell of it, the taste of it. And that's probably what a lot of what does it for me, the actual physical motion of it, and the mental effects. I don't do it for physical pain. I can deal with the physical pain I'm in, unless it's something really bad. But for example, a couple of weeks ago, about a week and a half ago now, it's funny, like when you're a kid, you could do all kinds of rough and tumble shit and you never hurt yourself hardly. And although I sprained both my ankles multiple times playing basketball and things like that as a kid, and sprained my wrist in wrestling when I was in 5th grade. But when you're a kid, for the most part, like, you know, just running upstairs or walking upstairs or something like that, or down the stairs, or just doing normal shit, you're not going to hurt yourself. But I was just walking up the stairs. We live in a 2nd floor apartment, and I was just walking upstairs to our apartment, and my right foot just slipped off the stair. It was slick, and it just slipped off, and when it slipped off, it's had a downward force to it, so it hit the step below it pretty hard, and like I feel like I have maybe a slight crack, or it sprained my like big toe and like the ball of my foot right there, and that whole front side, you know, near the side where the big toe is. So it still hurts off and on, but and it hurt really bad to fucking start with, but I didn't, you know, need anything like narcotic wise or anything like that to cover up the pain. I didn't go to the hospital or anything like that. You know, I don't like going to the hospital, especially because even like when I did the times I have had medical insurance in my life, and right now, no, I don't have medical insurance, and yes, I'll probably pay the fucking tax penalty this year because I did work the majority of the year, and I'm gonna be you know, working again. I just landed that job a couple days ago, so I just don't believe in having like having to be forced to have medical insurance, for one, and then even when you do have good medical insurance through your employer, those times you still have the deductible, and it's still, I don't know, I always feel like I always just end up with pain pills, antibiotics, and a fucking hefty bill at the end of it, or I gotta pay monthly over $100 a month just to barely get any help. I feel like the medical and the health industry just likes to shove pills down your throat. So I didn't go to the doctor. I've had lots of medical bills in the past, still paying those off. So it's not even worth it for me. They would have gave me fucking like Vicodin or something like that would have made me feel like a weirdo for 5 days. And then I would have fucking hated myself because I stayed on them in order to mask that pain. So I smoke weed for the psychological benefits because I'm just an intense person, very intense, and very aware, like not aware like saying that like some fucking hippie-ish way or something like that, like just I notice things like literally around me all the time. Like I'm hyper aware and hyper critically thinking a lot of times, and so marijuana helps balance me out. Um, Helps balance out between my see, and I go from hyper emotional and hyper critical thinking to when I'm smoking, um, self critical, um, just to the point where I need to be aware of my own actions when I'm being an asshole, and oftentimes like I'll reflect on myself and the actions I've been carrying out when I wasn't using marijuana or when I wasn't getting high, and it'll help me. I feel like the next time, maybe the more I can think about the actions and the repercussions my actions have on others, the more I can change them. So it helps me be self-aware, helps balance me out, and I shouldn't need help, balancing out or being able to stay on the positive thoughts. But we all have our own fucking paths, and I feel like my path, the way it went, it's beneficial for me to have something to calm me down, and to break down my defense mechanisms and things like that. I'm a complicated individual. Doesn't we all are, and we all have an emotional range, and a lot of people just stuff theirs down and don't accept it, and they hide from it and compartmentalize it and things like that. And I will refuse to do that. I believe that's when you start to be mind controlled, and brainwashed, is when you start to let people when you start to compartmentalize it yourself and allow other people's messages to help you compartmentalize information in your mind and separate your emotions from everything else. I don't believe that's well balanced at all. I believe that's just living in one extreme or another. The same way as when I become hypercritical or when I become hyper emotional. So, yeah. So I like smoking some good weed that stimulates the creative process, helps me get into the quantum field and get creative. That just means, for me, that's just how I explain, like when I lose perception of all space and time around me and I become so creative and so in the moment where nothing else matters, that's where I seek to live my whole life. When I was a child, I could put myself in that zone. I could tune out the world around me and put myself in that zone, and it's like I could almost travel to another world in my mind. And now how I get there is through the creative process, and losing track of all time and space around me and about the perception of how much time I'm using to do this or that. Or I believe that the more we worry about time and space around us, the more time is allowed to eat us and chew us up and age us faster. And maybe that's just my way of allegorically saying that the more you stress out about that shit, the faster it ages you, and the quicker you burn through your life here. I think the more you live in what I like to call the quantum field, just that space of freedom from time and space, where you're just in the zone doing something, or just meditating, whatever you're doing. I believe that's where it's at to live. That's where I want to spend my time, and I believe that while you're there, you're the essence of who you are, for one, from who you have been since your consciousness emerged into the meat avatar you're walking around in. That's who you are at your most inner core, is that. And you can call it whatever you want, man. But we all know, and we've all experienced, whether it's just been maybe some of you super analytical people, you get into that zone working on math equations or on science problems, coming up with hypotheses and resolutions for science problems, or you super creative people get in there. Like I have friends who just love to paint, and get in that zone. Some people do it with a glass of wine and paint. Some people do it with no stimulant or no chemical alteration at all. But a lot of people like to get in touch with the universe at a certain with a current certain chemical relationship in order to get in that zone, especially people who have been told to be wrapped up in the agenda of a giant corporation or stay on track working for another company, and all your thoughts are just on that, and they don't remember how to find themselves. And if you can't find yourself, you can't get yourself into that quantum field, into that super creative or that magical state where you just lose track of whatever's going on around you. You're just in that zone doing it. And you look up however long later, you're like, wow, that much time fucking passed? I felt like that was just a couple of minutes. While you were in that zone and you were doing something special with your state of consciousness, and it altered the way you experience time in this world. And I believe that while you were experiencing that, time wasn't affecting you the way it normally does. And I believe that the more we stay in those processes, the longer it keeps us healthy, both physically and emotionally, and the less the aging processes and the mental aging processes affect us. Like, I feel like the more I get myself, and I'm almost there right now, like I feel so good right now, like fuck time right now, like, but the more we stay right here where we're at in this passionate zone, the less the negative influences around us can harm us in a way. I know that's not, like, if there was a true physical threat, like if we were in war and like a true battle, if there actually was a fucking terrorist ever terrorizing me, not that there ever has been one, it's been talked about a lot on TV for the last 16 years, but I understand that that state of mind we would need our fully aware critical thinking on hand state of mind. But as far as the things that eat away at us over time, like, you know, like I said, like the aging processes and things like that, and like the mental aging processes, like diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia, I believe if you allow yourself to get into this state of mind, this quantum field, ultra creative, lose track of everything state of mind, that it gives you the break. It's like taking a break away from the processor that's filtering your consciousness, which is your brain. It's like giving that a break, and you're like in a state of consciousness that is so within itself that it's like giving your brain a vacation every time you can get in that state of mind. Like your analytical brain is what is worried about, you know, time and keeping you on track, and oh god, I'm gonna be late for a very important date, like the little white rabbit in fucking Alice in Wonderland, you know. So lose track sometimes. It's okay. Let go. When you go to sleep at night, just let yourself go to sleep, not with the idea that you have to suddenly wake yourself up in the morning because you've been sleeping. How dare you sleep? You have all these things to do. You're a human being first, man. Let yourself be a human being. You're going to wake up in the morning. You're going to wake up on time, man. You set the fucking alarm. That's it. Let it go. All those things that are wrapping you up, making you sick to your stomach, let them go. Think about something you're passionate about before you go to sleep, especially because that's another state of mind, like the in-between sleep and awake state is a special state of mind, and special for many people, terrifying for some other people, whether you want to believe them or not. Some people suffer with the idea that they're being suffocated or sat on or immobilized by some sort of creature. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I sound a little crazy just like going off into this tangent real quick, but the folklore of the mare, which is the basis for the nightmare, which is what we call a bad dream nowadays, is because this has been happening since humanity's ever existed. Like, people have been waking up in like a paralyzed state, not being able to move, and just terrorized and feeling like there's a presence around them that is trying to do some harm or something just horrible to them, or just scare the shit out of them. People have been waking up in these paralyzed states, and scientists tell you it's just like some sort of mental anomaly or something, or some sort of reaction from your body coming out of the dream state, out of that state of consciousness, subconscious level. But you know, that's when I believe, like, that state of mind, like, is another one where you're not forcing yourself to live in the the five sense sensory reality. You're when you right before you get to sleep, like, you go into that twilight period where maybe the things that you dream about that don't make any sense, but when you wake up, they start to make sense again a little bit to you. Like, you go into a very malleable state of mind and consciousness. And I think that if there are beings out there that we can't see, with the very slim spectrum of light that we can interpret with our senses, and with sound, and with everything that we can interpret, then if they had a time where they could possibly influence us in some way, it would be while we're going to sleep, or while we are asleep. And maybe, when people wake up feeling like there's something around them, maybe there is something really around them, and maybe there is something they need to deal with in their life in order to be able to combat that. And we're just going off into thought land here, but way off into left field. But that state of mind I just want to talk about it, some special state of minds, one being in that ultra creative state, another like right before you go to sleep. And if you are being attacked by mares at night, I would say saying out loud a mantra over and over again, something like I hereby decline all soul contracts from being in existence, or some shit like that. Come up with something to let whatever know around you, if it is really there, that you're no longer available for open communication with it, and that its existence in your life is no longer wanted, and it only was there in the first place because you were probably somehow manipulated into it. So tell them that they have no rightful place in your life. They're no energetic place in your life, and tell them to leave, and maybe that'll help. I know there's a documentary out there about these situations, and there's a lot of people actually really going through that. So whether it's a mental condition of some sort, which I don't know, or whether it's some sort of interdimensional being, something that we can't interpret with our five senses while we're fully conscious, while we're here, but maybe something that can interact with us when we go into a more malleable state of mind as we're going to sleep, or while we are asleep. And I've noticed more and more, like, my dreams, like, I don't even freak out over it anymore, really. Like, just had a lot of dreams in my life that about mundane things, or just about daily activities that I end up participating in sometime in the near future. So it's a trippy thing about dreams. Like, maybe that's when we're programmed to live our next day somehow, to get ready for the experiences we're going to have the next day, to preface us for the experiences somehow. Maybe it's just our mind entertaining us, giving us movies to watch in our head, basically, like scientists say. Or maybe it's something speaking to us and symbolically speaking to us, and or our subconscious speaking to our conscious mind and telling us ways we need to change our behaviors in order to fix the things we want to fix in our lives. Whatever it is, you can't deny that there are some special ways to experience life consciously, and the existence of those special state of minds leads me to believe that I'm more than just a collection of brain cells having a thought, because it's more than just thought of mind. It's more than that. I can't explain it, but it's more than that. Yeah. So, anyways, woo! Those animal cookies got me feeling good, obviously, man. So, man, all you motherfuckers, man. We got 100 people, and I say that lovingly. All you motherfuckers We got 100 people roughly following on Twitter. Still only got 7 subscribers. Like, I'm just being fucking honest. Like, are you not entertained? Nah, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. And just, you know, come jump on the wagon with me and enjoy my life with me. And, you know, enjoy the content I put out and the experiences I'm going to share with you guys and shit like that, man. Just, if you guys want to subscribe on YouTube, if you don't want to, that's fine. If this is already too much for you and you're about to turn this podcast off, I understand that. But, you know, I just, trying to get as much content out as I can for you guys. And, you know, trying to get as many of you guys that want to listen out there to listen. So if you guys want to subscribe, I'd like to build up from 7 subscribers. I'm not going to give up. That's for sure. This is what I was meant to do. So that being said, I wanted to let you guys know that not this Saturday, but next Saturday, going to be a special episode of the morning recording. I'm going to have a good friend, my first guest ever on this show, next Saturday. His name's Jason Nelson. Work together. He used to come in to through the line at a grocery store I used to work at. We used to have good conversations there before we ever worked together. Then we worked together. Found out that we are kindred spirits. Both critical thinkers. Both people who like to question why authority is telling us what they're telling us and why they're ordering us to do what they're ordering us to do, and why in the fuck should you even be ordering me in the first place. So not only that, he's just a good man. He'll do you know, what's right by other people. He doesn't like to harm other people. He likes to help other people. And he's a, you know, part-time paranormal investigator. He likes to do EVP sessions, infrared camera sessions, and wants to find out what's going on with the experiences that aren't being acknowledged by mainstream science and the communities that seem to influence the common person's thought on this earth. So I'm very interested in that as well. I know he's working on his own projects creatively, working on bringing out a podcast. I do have experiences, stories in my life to share. As far as supernatural paranormal experiences are concerned, I was raised with a healthy spiritual helping by my grandma. She didn't have to take us to church to teach us about spirituality internally and inside of us, and she always sat me on her lap as a young child and asked me about what I thought about my experience here so far, maybe where I came from and things like that. And, you know, she always shared to me the stories that she had, and I would like to share her stories, my stories, and more, on a podcast with Mr. Nelson whenever he gets that started up. So, for sure, like to cross-platform, and, cause we're both people who, have a message to spread, and people who have messages to spread, they help each other do that. So, and that's that. And that's the animal cookies talking right there. So, hold on a second. In fact, smoking out of my Notorious pipe here. Notorious is a small pipe, a small, thick blown, candy striped painted glass pipe, non-color changing, but a beautiful pipe. Green, red, yellow, Rastafarian colors, and then a peace flower blown into the bowl right here. But it's notorious because it's a short pipe with a broad neck, and it's been known to shoot a hot ash or two down someone's throat from time to time. So I keep this savage little pipe to myself and use it to smoke myself. I don't share it with friends that often because if you guys have never seen someone Superman a roach down their throat or take a hot ash to the back of the neck, it's not very pleasant for them. So I stay careful myself and don't let it happen to myself when the bowl gets low close to the end. make sure I'm careful about how hard I'm hitting that motherfucker, because you never know when a smoldering ember fucking might come shooting down your face like fucking Gandalf threw it at you. So that's my little pipe I'm smoking out of right there. So smoking the animal cookies out of the Savage little pipe. Should come with the fucking warning label on it. So yeah, so I'm excited for Jason to come on though. There's another podcast that was actually my first podcast idea, the first baby I cradled in my arms, which is the Pondercast, and that's going to be where I have a guest on every show, and we tell stories, and we openly discuss fringe subjects and subjects that are controversial in the world, and we come up with new ways to approach them, and we just snowball ideas and don't judge each other, and there's no political correctness there as well, and that goes without saying that, like, I'm not going to censor people's thoughts, but if I disagree with someone, I'll sure as fuck let them know, and I expect them to do the same. That's part of the open thought process, is being able to disagree too. So it doesn't just mean we're just going to suck each other off and agree with each other. It means that you're allowed to say what the fuck you want to say, and if you say something harmful, somebody else is allowed to fucking put you in check for that too. So it's going to be a good show. Lots of storytelling. I believe that us passing our stories on to those peers, seniors, and youth around us helps keep our culture strong, and we need to be each other's influences. The people need to influence the people. The people don't need to be influenced by the machine so much. So that's what I love about podcasts, is that you're delving into someone's mind with them. They're allowing themselves to share information with you at a human level, and we teach each other that way. There's always been a lot of bullshit in humanity before the internet. You could tell someone you were a black belt in fucking Taekwondo and probably get away with it, like back in the 70s or 80s. And that bullshit's always existed. Bad's always existed with good in the world. But I believe there's also something more authentic about living in those times, when you gained your knowledge primarily from your family and your influences from your family around you. And there were certain things that were taught for generations, family trade skills, problem solving skills, emotional coping skills, things like that were broken off and were replaced by the public school system and by society as a whole, the influences of the government, both state, locally, state, and federally, and in the media, which basically runs hand in hand with the federal government. So I believe that we need to reinstill faith in each other and our family members, that we can pass the information from one to another ourselves, and we don't need to distrust ourselves so much, and we need to listen to the stories of our elders and keep those alive, and listen to the wisdom they have, and learn the techniques they have to teach in whatever trade it may be. It's very important. It's very important that we keep the family alive. If the family unit dies off, and we all end up living either just as couples or just by ourselves, in a little one room apartments, and nobody is allowed to exist who thinks differently, you're not going to be living for anything other than mechanical processes at that point. They want you to live that way, so that way there's no distractions from you going to work where they tell you how to live your life while you're there, and they barely pay you enough to get by. And they want us all living the same role in our own dwelling by ourselves, disconnected physically from the energies of the other people in the world. And if we let the family die, there's no more roles. That's why, like, I understand the idea of gender fluidity, but there are still roles that males and females carry out in the world, which make us different from each other, and what gives us diversity in the world, all the different roles of the family that exist, and all the different roles that males and females can play in this grand and play that we have here. So if we're all just somewhere in between all of those roles, we're all going to be just little replications of each other, hive mind fucking replications of each other, you know? So that's where transhumanism does get fucking scary. The thought of integrating man and machine, and being able to put ourselves in press a button, put ourselves in a good mood, or press a button and give ourselves an orgasm like it's a mechanical process. It's not just a mechanical process. There's a fucking art form to the way I rub one out, motherfucker. All right? I don't just fucking do it just to fucking release the pressure, okay? I do it because I fucking enjoy it, or I have sex with my girl because I fucking enjoy it. All right? We have roles, okay? All right? And that's okay. We have traditional roles, and that's okay. I don't have any problem with anybody fucking having any other types of roles, dude. You guys fucking can live your lives however way you want, and so can I. That's a beautiful thing. Being gay and not hurting anybody, and being a fucking traditional type, you know, the way I believe in the roles in the family and a nuclear family and things like that. There's nothing wrong with that either. I don't have kids myself. I probably won't ever fucking have kids myself. I don't, you know, I've had plenty of chances. It's never happened. And I'm in my mid-30s now, and it so happens that a lot of times males who produce children in their mid-30s have autistic children and things like that. And I wouldn't want to put a kid on earth that doesn't have the full shot at their full potential. Not saying autistic kids don't. Like, many autistic kids are much more intelligent than I hate to use the word normal, but a normal range functioning child. I don't know any other way to put it. But yeah, so anyway, so that's where transhumanism gets scary. Is you know, we all imagine a future where everyone's equal. Nobody's a man, nobody's a woman. Everybody's genderless. People can still give themselves orgasms on command. People can press a button to trigger a synthetic hormone to make them happy, or make them joyous, or euphoric, or high. Maybe you just be able to press the button and it can make you feel like you've smoked weed or something like that. I don't know, but what's the fucking fun in life if you're just playing in fucking God mode with yourself? Like, disgusting. It's just as fucking disgusting to me like that. Like, but where's the art? Where's the art of everything? Where's the human in everything when you're living like that? If we separate sex from reproduction and reproduction from sex and make it a mechanical process where we can just complete it anytime we want with the push of a button, that's no fun to me. That's like me playing Contra and giving myself 30 lives and know that I'm going to beat the game every time when I was a kid, rather than fucking beating it the hard way. Or playing Grand Theft Auto and doing the code to have all the weapons right from the beginning of the game or something like that. Like, I'm just putting in an analogy that a lot of people can understand these days. Like, where's the fun in that? Where's the fun in, or where's the adrenaline rush of being nervous to ask a girl out and she says yes and it all fucking works out right, and you end up having a wonderful time with her. You go out to dinner and it's romantic and not even having sex, it's just a great time, and then you go out on a second date and a third date and you end up, you know, not everybody has long-term fucked up relationships. There's a lot of fucking beautiful relationships out there too. It's attainable. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the fun in life, is the experience of it, working to fucking get it. not just working to work for someone else to work for them, but working as on your own life as a do-it-yourself project. And transhumanism is gonna make it all fucking suck, man. You guys are gonna be bored with life, man. What happens on your fucking 1 millionth orgasm in a fucking 1 year, and then you're just fucking tired of them after that, and you wish you could just kind of go out and ask a girl out and see if you can make it happen organically, and you just can't do that anymore. It doesn't exist. Y'all look like fucking Ken and Barbie dolls downstairs. Bunch of bitch ass motherfuckers who sold out all their rights. That's what it looks like to me, man. Been brainwashed to be the ultimate fucking slave. Want to be fucking genderless? You're gonna be the ultimate slave. You'll have no reason to miss work. There won't be a single reason to miss work. And if you miss work in this fucking weird ass future we're gonna be in, they'll be able to check all the information they need to call you on your bullshit and make you still come into work. So, just the way the information is being linked in the world is fucking crazy, and the way that they're gonna use it probably against us in the future. This isn't my idea. I don't remember who I got this from, but I heard this one time. But imagine a future. I think it was Vince Russo, who's dead, rest in peace. Him and Bill Cooper, rest in peace. But a future where you go to order pizza, and you try to order like Meat Lovers Pizza or something like that, and the pizza company can check your medical records and can tell that you have high blood pressure and that you're a high risk candidate for cardiovascular issues, and so they don't sell you that pizza, or they tell you have to choose an alternative one, or they charge you an extra surcharge or make you sign a waiver or something like that in order to order that pizza. It could be financially impactful, and the invasion of privacy. Like, your information shouldn't be organized, stored, and cross-platform for everybody to fucking know everything about you. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. If we organically came to the point of consciousness where we all were living in a homeostasis, I believe we could communicate telepathically anyways. We want to talk about being able to instantly communicate telepathically, that it's an extension of the technology curve from telegraphs, telephones, the internet, and that the next step is communicating internally from one to another. I agree that we should be able to do that, but we should be able to do that fucking organically. I believe that the power of everyone organically being on the same page mentally, emotionally, on this earth with the same objectives organically, where we come past the point of trying to collect material assets as our main focus in life. I believe that we would probably be able to communicate telepathically at that point anyways, because we would be basically living in harmony as a macroorganism. So the benefits would come along with that of communication in different ways that we can experience now. But they want to force it all upon us, I just don't understand taking all the fun out of life like that, man. Like this obsession. I understand the obsession with knowledge, but for God's sakes, man. You guys are doing some fucked up shit. Experiment. I can't even imagine the types of experiments you guys are running on people. You guys probably fucking, you rich fucks and scientists out there probably abducted people to do sick experiments on their fucking mind and shit like that. Cross-platforming or crossing streams of consciousness between different species and things like that. And not to mention the gene splicing and the intermingling of genes between species, and the intermingling of kingdoms between the plant and animal kingdoms, the fungi and the bacteria and all of that, making fucking spider goats, you fucking weirdos, making pigs, breeding pigs with human genes so that human infants will accept the pig's milk as though it was a human's milk, shit like that. Weird shit. Stuff that we just shouldn't be dabbling in. It's taking all the fucking fun out of life, man. Like, it's fucking a shame the way we do things. It's just a shame just even the way we fucking raise our farm animals. I guess it's a cruel reality with how many people are living in this world. Not that we need to decline the amount of people are living in this world. We could probably all homestead or have our own fucking piece of property with our own animals on it that we could slaughter ourselves instead of having it done you know, on a massive farm where we treat all these animals fucking horrifically. It's one thing to fucking murder them, but it's another thing to fucking torture them for however long before we do that to murder them to use them as sustenance. So we could honor the animals that we use as sustenance a lot more than we do, instead of putting them all in fucking giant death camps. They could live with us and on our fucking properties, you know, for a while until it's their time to go. You know what I mean? You do it in a way with out of honor and respect instead of out of whatever intention, capitalistic intention, is currently being employed. So yeah. And so where all the fucking transhumanism shit came from is I was listening to this talk by Dr. Robert Duncan, who's a guy that used to be a scientist working on a lot of different government projects. You know, that's what he says, at least. And he was talking about transhumanism and about some of the dark ways that our government's planning to use technology. And then at the end he tells you, but to be optimistic, and that it might not all be bad, which is maybe he still believes that maybe he actually does believe in technology and wants it to happen, but some guilty part of himself wants to try to warn other people of it somehow. It's a contradiction within that man, but I could tell. But he's talking about Project Bluebeam, which is, you know, a lot of people have heard of like a lot of the government projects like MK Ultra or the Montauk Project or Operation Paperclip, where they brought all the Nazis and used them for scientific purposes over here. Like, people pretty much accept those, and they accept the fact that they accept them, and we don't fucking have upheaval over those is just astonishing to me. It just goes to show you that if you let enough water pass under the bridge, that you can get away with almost anything. But Project Bluebeam's one of the more interesting theories out there. It's basically a 3-stage attack on humanity to bring them into a one world ruling, by first using some means to implant or having to implant some sort of device or nanotechnology, which is like inhaled or implanted or injected inside a person, that allows for an outside third-party source to communicate with that person as though someone was talking to them in their head and presenting them as a religious figure that person believes in order to deceive them. And they would know your religious beliefs by all the information collection, NSA, and stuff like that, yada yada. And then the second stage would be in the sky. They would holographically project an image that would look real over all parts of the earth, that would show up like as whoever the majority of the people believe in as their savior. So in Christian countries, it would be Jesus, or you know, I'm horribly fucking culturally ignorant. So like Buddhist, it would be Buddha or the source or whatever they believe in, and you know, yada yada. It goes down the line. You know, if you're Jewish, you know, your second Messiah or whatever that you guys have been waiting for would appear in the sky, and then all of those anthropomorphizations of your savior figure from your religion would morph all into the same looking figure, and they would present a new religious figure that would replace all of the previous splintered paradigms into one unified religious theory. And then that person, that religious figure, is going to warn you of an impending alien attack and tell you that the aliens have that these aliens are going to come here and destroy the whole earth and destroy all of humanity unless you give up your weapons and your control to them. And then that's going to bring the whole world under the rule of you know, this fake alien threat, and then the idealistic, spiritual, religious rule of this new religious figure. So it is a fucking balls deep conspiracy theory. But the patents do exist, I know, to where they can implant devices in someone's head and then transmit messages to them that can only be heard inside that person's head. Those patents do exist. I'll find those. I found those a long time ago, like a couple years ago, where actual patents exist for this type of technology, where you can have basically communication between people without any verbal or spoken or body language or anything like that. So I'm not saying I believe all this, but I have heard other theories before from multiple sources, and there's this one old interview back from the 60s where a guy talks about being in a meeting back in the 50s after World War II had been done for a few years, and talking about the plan from World War II to keep our country and the United Nations focused on a succession of enemies, first starting out with like the Cold War, and then the Middle East, and then like terrorism and things like that, and then the next enemy would be like asteroids or comets that we'd be fearful of, like how they led us up to 2012 thinking that the whole world was going to fucking end, and then the threat after that, the one that will, and this is incrementalism, these threats are incrementally more dangerous, and the thought is that by the final threat that people will be so fed up and broken down and ready to be ruled over just to make it easier, that this alien threat will scare the shit out of everybody, and the religious figure being in the sky telling you about it will theologically bring everybody in unification that way. So the government philosophy will be unified, the religious philosophy will be unified, and they'll control everybody in the world under the false rule of this fake alien threat. That being said, there's many other conspiracy theories out there. I was just listening to this guy, Max Spears, who's most recently this last summer died of a quote-unquote heroin overdose. He would have told you, and I listened to his videos, that aliens do exist, and he was part of a super soldier program, and that there are aliens that are fighting for control, and there's reptilians and the whole gamut David Icke shit. It's just tough, and I never seen an alien with my own eyes. Once I fucking see one and smell one and experience one, then maybe I'll believe in it. But if it's just something in the sky, I'll tell you that right now, I'm not going to believe it. And I've never been spoken to by any god before, and I believe that whatever God is, whatever unifies all of us energetically in this world and consciously in this world, is within all of us. So if something tries to talk to me and make me feel like it's the voice of God, it's going to have a hard time getting through to me. I'm a stubborn motherfucker. I don't even listen to myself, so a lot of times I forget what's good for me, so I'm listening to some other motherfucker trying to talk to me in my mind. That being said, if it really happened, it'd probably be freaky as fuck, and maybe I'd be wrong. Maybe it would be able to. I mean, that's a powerful tool. This guy, Dr. Robert Duncan, he said that that's what we used in the first Gulf War, and that's why the Iraqi soldiers fucking just stopped fighting. So that's interesting. We were all told, I don't know if that's true or not, but we were all told it's, Saddam Hussein wasn't feeding them and wasn't taking care of them right, and so they just couldn't, like, they were just done, like, trying to fight for this guy. He wouldn't fucking take care of them. Who knows what the fuck to believe, but interesting shit. So, it's the weekend. It's Friday. Hopefully all you guys that go out tonight and drink your Fireball and Jack Daniels and Crown Royal and fuck whatever else drinks you like, Mai Tais and Long Island iced teas and Jack and Cokes and cranberry and vodka and all the other types of poisons you like to pour down your throat that I do as well every once in a while. Hopefully you guys don't do anything stupid as fuck, end up in jail or end up hurting anybody tonight. You guys all go out. Whoever's going out tonight, you guys go out and have some fun. I was thinking about going out and do some karaoke. I like to get down on some karaoke from time to time. Don't hate. It's fun. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to be fun. So who gives a fuck if people fuck up the music? That's the fun in it. So But I don't know. We'll see. Got about 10 hours or so until that type of situation will start. So we'll see how I feel until then. I don't really want to go out and drink. Maybe go out and get high and fucking do some karaoke and hang out and shit like that. But Nikki's still not feeling well. Her back hurts. So I'll be going out by myself, and I got to play stiff arm everywhere. Because when you go out by yourself, I just feel like you're just putting yourself almost in a bad situation. Like there's a lot of bad influences that can happen and stuff like that. So I'm always really careful when I go out by myself, because the most important thing is to me is to stay true to the person that I've committed myself to at this point. So if I didn't want to commit myself to him anymore and go out and have fun in a different way, that's what I would do. That's not what I want to do. So all of you assholes out there who are cheating on your girlfriends right now, or all you fucking bitches that are out there cheating on your boyfriends right now, remember that you could have just broke up with them and been fucking without a guilty conscience. So if you want to fuck someone else, then you shouldn't be in someone else's pocketbook. So that's just the way it is. So that's called a conflict of interest. So I hope all of you guys have a wonderful time this weekend. This weekend there will be no recordings of the morning recording. I will be back on Monday, bright and early, bushy-tailed like a motherfucker, here for you guys. And then next Saturday, I'll be having my boy Jason Nelson, the first guest ever on the morning recording, on here with me. Until Monday, you guys, all you assholes out there, and all my family members, all my friends, all the acquaintances that either liked, hated, talked shit, or enjoyed my presence, hope you all have a great, loving weekend. Bye-bye. This has been the morning recording.